Hello, I'm Paul, and this is Paul Plays with Fire. Welcome. Come on in and grab a stool. Today on the show, we're making chili, and not just any chili, but George the Chili King's chili. Who is George the Chili King? George Karaidos ran a drive-in restaurant in Des Moines, Iowa called George the Chili King. He ran that place for 62 years, so he must have been doing something right. How do I know so much about George the Chili King? Well, Mrs. Paul Plays with Fire and her sister Marci used to car hop for George when they were teenagers. Here's a picture of them with George from a few years ago. And here we are at the inside counter. It was a pretty small place inside, with the counter and just a couple of tables. Most everyone used the drive-in and the car hops. So today on the show, we're going to make my take on George the Chili King's chili, and then we'll try it out on a few different things. Let's get busy, I'm hungry. Before we start making the chili, let's go through our ingredients real quick. We have a pound of ground beef, and that's 85-15 ground beef. You could use 80-20. I know George, in addition to using 80-20 ground beef, also used quite a bit of beef tallow in his chili, so I'm not going to do that today, but that's what he did. And next up we have some diced onions, just some regular diced onions that we use in the chili. We'll also use some other diced onions later on top of the other ingredients, and then we also have a couple cloves of garlic that we're going to press into there. We have Worcestershire sauce, great ingredient, really brings out flavor. A tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce and a teaspoon of mustard. And next we have my chili powder. You could use any chili powder, but this is what I use because it's what I like. It's a special blend. I'll put a link to the ingredients down in the description, so I'll show you how to make this by itself. But it's real good. I use it in a lot of different things, but it's basically just fancy chili powder. And we use a tablespoon and a half of that. Half a teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder. I'm kind of experimenting around with the cocoa powder. We'll see how that goes. 1/2 a teaspoon of allspice, 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground cloves, just a tiny little bit of ground cloves, because a little bit goes a long way. 1 can of tomato sauce, an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, and a 6-ounce can of tomato paste. Some cracker meal that I haven't made yet, but we add that a little bit later. Once we start cooking, I'll show you that. It's a 1/2 cup of cracker meal. And this is something I think is pretty George exclusive. It gives a real body to the chili, and it gives a little bit of a different flavor too. I've never seen anybody else do that, but I definitely have seen him do that. And finally, about a cup or so of beef broth. We use that just to keep the meat moist and the chili moist while we're cooking it, because as we cook it, it will cook down, and then we'll add a little liquid to it and let it cook down and reduce again. And that's how complex flavors are built, is by going through that cook down, reduce, add some more moisture, to cook it down again. That really adds to the depth of flavor. Well, that's all the ingredients we have. We better get cooking. George Karaidos, the Chili King, is actually George Jr. His dad, George Karaidos Sr., was a Greek immigrant and won a chili contest in Des Moines, Iowa in 1920. The Des Moines Register crowned George Sr. George the Chili King. George Sr. used that title as a springboard to open a downtown Chili King restaurant. George Jr. followed in his father's footsteps and began his career as a Chili King when he returned from his military duty in 1960. He ran a second Chili King location in Des Moines in the suburbs until his passing in 2019. Sadly, the drive-in was closed shortly after. Okay, we got our pan heated up, and we're going to cook our ground beef in there. And what we're doing today, we've got an induction cooktop that we set just right on top of the griddle. Sure, we could cook chili on the griddle itself, but although it would work, it's probably not a very good idea. It's like, just because you can use a screwdriver as a hammer doesn't mean, even though it works, doesn't mean it's a good idea. So that's why we're using induction cooktop. It really focuses the heat. And once we get the chili where we want it, then we'll go ahead and set it down on the griddle to keep it warm while we make our other things to put the chili onto. So we're gonna put our meat on. And like I said, we're using 85-15 or 80, I think it's 85-15 ground beef. And what we want here at the end is a very fine grind. I mean, we want it to be, no real chunks of meat. It just should be extremely finely ground up. And one of the things we'll do to do that is we use this device here. some kind of a meat chopper. It does a really good job. You just go in there and grind like that, and we'll spend some time doing that once it gets a little more cooked. Now we're going to add just a little bit of salt and pepper to it, just because that's good practice. 2 or 3 pinches of salt. A couple 3 grinds of pepper. Let's go ahead and add our onions. Not the garlic just yet. Let's go ahead and add some of our wet ingredients too. We've got a tablespoon of Worcestershire. That's a pretty good amount. That's about right. Going through the Worcestershire pretty fast these days. And we're gonna add a teaspoon of mustard. About right. I'll let that cook down a little bit. Oh, boy, as soon as that mustard hits the heat, it smells so good. Our meat is coming along pretty good, and we've got all of our dry ingredients I mentioned. And like I said, I'll put the ingredient list down in the description so you can look for it there. So we're just gonna dump I mixed those up earlier, all the seasonings together in the right amounts, and we'll just put that in now. Now we should really start to get some good smells off of it. All the while we're continuing to chop to get that consistency we want. Okay, now it's about time to get our garlic in there. We've got a garlic press. And we're just gonna press that garlic right in there. We're gonna turn that down, let it simmer for a little bit. Let those flavors get to know each other. Then we'll be adding our tomato sauce and our tomato paste here in a second. All the while continuing to chop. See you in a little bit. Just like several other regional foods we've talked about lately, chili for hot dogs goes by different names depending on where you are in the country. Of course, there is the famous Nathan's hot dogs that are sold on Coney Island. On the East Coast, and even up into Michigan, chili dogs are called Coney Island or Coney Island hot dogs, and the chili is called Coney sauce. However, in Rhode Island, a chili dog is called a hot wiener. And once you get close to Cincinnati, it's called Cincinnati style chili, Skyline chili, or Empress chili, and they serve it over spaghetti also. And in the South, I've heard it called hot dog sauce or hot dog chili. The one thing they all have in common is virtually all of these chili recipes originated with Greek immigrants in the 1920s. Okay, our beef and onions and garlic mixture and spices mixture is coming along nicely. Worcestershire, it all smells delicious. And the meat is getting chopped up into nice small pieces. So now we're gonna add our tomato sauce. One, I think 8-ounce can, whatever they call it these days. 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. And then a 6-ounce can of tomato paste. We'll mix that in. Now it's starting to take shape. Now it's starting to look like something. Okay, now we're gonna put in, we have a cup of beef broth and we have more if we need it. Basically, we just wanna make it liquid, a little bit too liquid, and then we'll let it simmer down and some of that liquid will boil off, then we'll add some more and rinse and repeat. And like I said earlier, that adds to the depth of flavor. And this is real similar to what somebody would do if they're running a drive-in with chili dogs, is that they would have the chili, the hot dog chili, the Coney sauce, whatever you want to call it, on the stove top, keep them warm for the people that come in. You need to add a little moisture as the day goes on, and then people would eat some more, and so you'd add a little more from the cooler, then you'd add a little moisture, and that's how the flavor was built. That's where the flavor comes from. That's where the magic comes from. We're gonna go ahead and add a little more of that liquid. And the other ingredient that I talked about that I've never seen anybody else do is cracker meal, just ground cracker crumbs. I just went inside with my shop mallet and took about half a cup of saltine crackers and turned them into crumbs. And now we're gonna add that to the chili, and that will add to the flavor and the body and the consistency. Really helps it hold up. Now we'll just let that simmer for a good hour or so. It takes a while. to build this kind of flavor. Maybe an hour, maybe longer. We'll see how it goes. Meanwhile, we'll start fooling around with stuff to put it on, like, I don't know, hot dog, hamburger coney style, maybe chili fries, maybe just a bowl of chili. All sounds good to me. I'm getting hungry. Next time you see me, the cooktop will be gone, the chili will be down on the griddle, and we'll be getting ready to put some chili onto some things. That's gonna be good. See you in a bit. The history of hot dog chili is complicated because it seems as if Greek immigrants in several different regions of the country all developed their own apparently independent and yet very similar hot dog chili recipes all about at the same time in around 1920. Greek immigrant restaurateurs were trying to expand their customer base, so many began serving a meat sauce with traditional Mediterranean spices as a topping for hot dogs. As mentioned previously, the sauce became known by many different names depending on where you were in the country. In spite of the naming differences, chili dogs became very popular and spread quite quickly because they were delicious. Well, we have our chili right where we want it. We've taken away the induction cooktop, and now we've got it right down on the griddle, and just look at that deliciousness. That's just gorgeous. And boy, I can tell you, it tastes really good too. All the different flavors come out. It's pretty amazing chili. Pretty amazing chili, but I'm kind of partial. We're going to go ahead and turn that down because I think that's as hot as we need to be. And we've got the griddle heated up. We're going to make some hot dogs and some hamburgers. And we got some French fries going inside, and we're going to put some chili onto all of it. So this should be fun. Stick around. We're going to take a couple hamburger patties, about 3-ounce patties. Toss them down onto the griddle. A little salt and pepper onto them. Use our little parchment paper trick. Remember, put a little piece of parchment paper down. Like I said, I was 3-4-ounce hamburger patties. That's pretty good. There we go. Perfect. Okay, meanwhile, we're gonna probably just warm our buns up a little bit. We'll just put them on there to maybe just steam a little bit. Because there's no sense trying to keep a nice crispy bun, you know, by toasting it if you're just gonna pour chili over the whole thing. The whole thing's gonna turn sloppy. That's just the way it goes. We're okay with that. There we go. That's got a nice steam to them. See, tell how they have the little dark dent. That means they've been heated up nicely. We'll just move them off to the side. Hot, hot. Griddle's hot. They're gonna put a little avocado oil down here where it's a little warm. Spread that a little bit with a spatula. And then we're gonna cook our hot dogs right there. We only got 2 hot dogs. We're gonna make 1 chili dog, and we're gonna make 1 chili cheese and onions dog. I think in Cincinnati that'd be a 3-way, except it'd be spaghetti underneath it. My French fries are done. French fries or chili cheese fries coming up. Okay, about ready to flip these burgers, I think. Oh, that looks good. Looks real good. Roll them dogs a little bit. We want them to kind of blister on several sides. We're getting really close here. Oh look, magic. French fries. They look delicious. Thank you. Oh, we're gonna put cheese on one of our burgers. Because it's gonna be a chili cheeseburger. We'll roll these a little bit. Oh, there we're getting some blister. That one's looking pretty done. Okay, let's kind of move things back out of the way. We got our hot dogs, those are done. Got our hamburgers, those are done. Okay, the table has been set. For starters, we're gonna make a chili a chili dog, just a plain old chili dog. So simple, and yet so delicious. Let's see, hot dog up there, nicely blistered and nicely warmed up. And then we'll take just a little bit of chili. This is so hard for me to not just load it up. I'm trying very hard to not put too much stuff on it. Oh look, I did it. And then next up, we're gonna make chili dog. Just like the first one. Trying so hard, trying so hard, trying so hard. Leave room for cheese and onions. Now we're gonna take some cheddar cheese. Put it right on the top there, where it'll melt very quickly. And then a little bit of onions. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Now, we'll take one of these hamburgers, cut it in half. Why? You'll see in a second. We'll take one of these hamburger buns, or hot dog buns. We'll take one of these hot dog buns, split it open, and we'll have a hamburger, coney style. This is one of the George's specialties. This is Mrs. Paul Place's favorite thing. Of course, you get it with cheese and onions, but she didn't do that. She just ate it like this. That looks pretty good. That looks really good. Then we're gonna take a cheeseburger. We have the cheeseburger left here. Put that on there. We put that down. And then we're gonna put chili on the top of it. Oh, doesn't that look good? And then we're gonna put cheese on the top of it. There's nothing that's not good about that. And then onions on the top of it. Then finally, our piece de resistance, chili cheese fries. So we got fries, we got chili. Oh, and that chili just smells so good. And we got cheese. And we got onions. I don't know, what else could you want? I mean, really, that's just look at that. I just can't imagine a plate of better looking food in my life. I mean, really. Oh, just look at that. It's a dirty job, but somebody has to do it. I'm gonna dig in. I'm gonna start with the cheese dog. I'm gonna start with the chili dog. Oh my goodness, that's good. Next up, we're gonna with the chili dog with cheese and onions. That looks really good too. You know, I'm not a huge raw onion fan, but boy, it's really good in that context. Next up, we're gonna try the, ooh, this one's a little sloppy. The hamburger coney style. Hamburger cut in half on a hot dog bun with coney sauce. That's good. I gotta go get a fork. Next up, the chili cheeseburger. It's a cheeseburger with chili and cheese and onions all over the top of it. It looks like a mess. There's no way to pick that up. Huh. So good. Oh, that is so good. And finally, what is my favorite? Chili cheese fries. Some soggy, some still crunchy. You got the onions and the cheese still on the top. Boy, there's just nothing wrong with that. Well, this has fulfilled like a boyhood fantasy of mine, to make all these things on one cutting board just to try it all at once. This is really fun. I hope you enjoyed it too. I'm Paul, and this has been Paul Plays with Fire. Thanks for watching. I got some eating to do. Next time you see me, the cooktop will be gone. We'll be down on the griddle. We'll be keeping this warm, and we'll be getting ready to put some chili on some things, I guess. Next time you see me, the cooktop will be gone. We'll have the chili down on the griddle, keeping warm, and we'll be getting ready to make some things to put on chili. And we'll be getting ready to put things, and we'll be getting ready to put some chili, and we'll be getting ready to put chili on some things. And we'll be getting ready to put chili onto some things. Next time you see me, the cooktop will be gone, the chili will be down on the griddle, and we'll be getting ready to put some chili onto some things. That's going to be good. See you in a bit.